Okay, so let me first and foremost say thank you to the board, the global board, and the management team and the global advisory council of the Association of Allied Human Resource Professional for this privilege. I do not take this for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about synergy and collaboration. Permits me to rest on this established protocol, but let me say a wonderful thank you to Opeyemi Obere, Rebecca, and of course, Rafiat, because we are talking collaboration and synergy today. These very wonderful ladies, they have worked hand in hand with me collaboratively to put together some of the slides and the things you'll be seeing and hear me speak about today. So let me acknowledge their wonderful efforts in putting this together, in the research that they've done to also add very important value to this presentation. So Opeyemi, Rebecca, and Rafiat, thank you very much. Let's continue to collaborate. Again, I am here this evening because of the God factor, and that is because I am a product of divine grace. Grace always, grace sustains, grace enables. I am a product of grace, and I'm proud to say that every time. I work for an organization that is called SynLab Nigeria. We are I lead the HR team, and I'm responsible for strategy, leadership development, people and culture, and of course, talent management and all the value chain lines of the HR function. I also have the responsibility of overseeing some of the countries in the South region of the organization, which is a global organization with the head office in Munich, in Germany. I am a member of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, the body responsible for the regulation of the human resource management practice in Nigeria. So if you are not certified to practice HR in Nigeria, don't be a quack. It's good enough for you to take advantage of the opportunity to become a chartered member and have a valid license. Ladies and gentlemen, as we dive into this evening's conversation, let us listen. The more you learn, the more that you know. Harnessing the power of synergy and collaboration for business success, the role of HR. Colleagues, please join me in the chat room and let me know 2 things that you want to achieve at the end of this evening session. We have just about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Let me see you in the chat room. 2 things that you would like to learn or achieve at the end of this evening session. The reason why you are joining this session, why you are not at a party, you are not at a function, you are not at the bar, you are not sitting down in front of your TV watching the football match. Why are you here this evening? What do you hope to achieve at the end of this session? Let me see that in the search, in the chat room. I'm waiting to read from us in the chat room. Anyone in the chat room, what do you hope to achieve at the end of this evening's session? Just 2 things that you hope to achieve at the end of this evening's session. Let me see you in the chat room. Okay. Knowledge acquisition. Learn better ways to collaborate with business leaders. All right. That's Mudrotolu Ajayi. Learn better ways to collaborate with business leaders. Fantastic. Any other person? Damilola is saying better insight into collaboration. I would love to know how to synergize and collaborate with people. Joy, Koyeha. Wonderful. Who else am I seeing in the chat room? Additional knowledge in HR as it has to do with collaboration. Dimola Adesanwo. Okay, 2 more persons. Let me see if we have any other person that is engaged with us in this meeting this evening. Let's see. I'm not seeing any other person in the chat room after Ademola Adesanwo. 2 things that you would like to achieve at the end of this evening session. Any other person? I'm waiting. I have just about 20 more seconds. How to know more about strategic HR plan, I believe. Deep understanding of collaboration. Oluwashola Elegbede. All right, fantastic. Well, I can say that I am definitely certain that by the time we are done this evening, you must have been able to achieve 1 or 2 of your objectives. So let's go straight into this evening's conversation. And for me, learning objectives will be for us to understand the concept of synergy and collaboration and how they impact, how both these 2 concepts, how they both impact business outcomes. Number 2 will be for us to have that understanding of the unique role that people managers play in building and sustaining collaborative workplace culture in terms of how everything within the organization work together and play together in order to deliver the business outcomes. 3 will be for us to identify the common barriers that could prevent us from collaborating effectively and how we can develop some strategies to overcome some of these barriers. Number 4 will be for us to know how to design and implement some of our HR practices that will encourage cross-functional teamwork, which is very, very, very key. And lastly will be for us to know how to develop practical skills in communication, facilitation, team dynamics that will foster synergy within the work space. So if you are with me this evening, let us go ahead as we dive in. First and foremost, I want to know how much of the Commonwealth nations that you are aware of. So we are going to be playing a game in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I want to see the person who will have the highest. But before we go into this, let me read out the rules of this game. The rule of this game is that number 1, you must give me all your answers in one single chat. All your answers must be in one single chat, not separate chats. It must be in one single chat. And we want to see the person who gets the highest correct answers. What we are looking at is that I'm going to be presenting us with letters on the screen, and you have to spell out the Commonwealth of Nations that you can pick out of the puzzle that I have on my screen. So if you are ready, I'm going to set my time right now. We are playing this game for just 5 minutes. I want to see who gets the highest number of correct answers. And please, I'm going to ask that Prince, please help me stay focused on the chat room. At the end of this, I have a special gift for the winner, which I will announce at the end. So I need to see the winner, the person who will have the highest number of correct answers in one single chat. In one single chat. And your first chat is what we are going to reckon with. So you are not allowed to repeat chat. If you send a second chat, we will not reckon with it. We'll reckon only with your first chat. So you need to think carefully. And I will say, let me give you an expo, like we say, there are 20 nations in this puzzle. So if you are able to figure out at least either the old 20 or the person who has the highest correct answers from the puzzle, not you just labeling it from your head. All right, so let's go. Our 5 minutes starts right about now. Prince, I hope you are with me. Let's see. Your answer in the chat room, okay? Do not annotate on the screen. We will only pick answers in the chat room. The person with the highest correct answer, okay? Commonwealth nations that you can figure out from this word puzzle. Let us see. I'm waiting in the chat room. Let's see who is going to blaze this trail. Let's see who comes first. I'm watching, I'm looking, I'm seeing this as I enjoy lovely music.
Them say, the blessing where you do, Ojo. Them say, salvation where you do, Ojo. You bless the boy, you give him victory, Ojo. The girl is Open mommy, ayo, yo. As it is sweet also, you know go pain also. Them no one's before, you don't better pass it before. Peking, alati leta, peking. Sugar, belete sweetie sugar. Honey, the melody like honey. Oh, by the way, the melody like water. Oh, by the way, the melody like water. You don't get choo. Ite. Oh, do mommy, ayo, yo. As it is sweet also, you know go plain also. Them no one's before, you don't better pass it before. Them say, the blessing where you do, Ojoro. Them say, salvation where you do, Ojoro. You bless the body, you give him victory, Ojoro. The girl is fine, no fresh and beautiful, Ojoro. See, this Ojoro, you do for me, you know. Udupe, the more you do, I got to say. I got to say.
All right, I'm seeing some interesting answers. I saw the first person who dropped a very long list. We'll check all of that out and see the correct answers. I'm seeing Victoria Azaria. I am seeing Adewale Michael. I am seeing Abel Ogunlere. I am seeing Sarah Muniratu. I'm seeing Titilayo Fagesi. I'm seeing Kayode. I'm seeing Victoria Azaria. I'm seeing Olawumi Olaguju. Okay. I'm seeing quite a number of people here. Okay, and I'm seeing Rebecca Oluwaseun. Wow, okay. I'm still seeing more people. We have just about 2 more minutes. Actually, 1 minute, 40 seconds to go. Any other person trying to join us, we want to see the person who would be able to guess the highest correct answers words from this puzzle. It's about the Commonwealth of Nations. Countries that are members of the Commonwealth of Nations that are in this puzzle, specifically in this puzzle. There are 54 nations in the Commonwealth of Nations, and there are about 20 of them in this puzzle. So it's for us to figure them out. Which countries can you pick out from this puzzle? We have just about 30 more seconds, even as we gradually wind down to the end of the game. I'm seeing Fred. Imagwomaworo. Fred. Okay, a long list from Fred. Interesting long list from Fred. Okay, I'm seeing Mo Olajiton all the way from diaspora. Okay, I'm seeing Martins Oyetoro. I'm seeing Nkiruka Osuji. Martins Nkiruka Titilayo. I'm seeing Michael Ogu. Okay, Emo has joined these raids. Okay, interesting. It's getting more interesting. Okay, I'm seeing Faith Ajayi also here. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is up. All right, our time is up, so we cut it off at about this period. I'm tempted to reveal the answer. Okay, just a tip of my All right, I'm tempted to reveal the answer, but I will do that just about towards the end of the presentation. So let's quickly get into the presentation. Thank you very much for being a good sport. Thank you for being part of that game. More games to come, even as we dive into our conversation this wonderful evening. All right, what is synergy? Synergy, as it is in the simplest form, is just about the means of combined effect of two or more things that are greater than the sum of their individual effects. What do we mean by this? It describes when the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, just like we have in systems. And this can happen when different people, different teams, different organizations, when they collaborate, when they come together, when they form a team, okay, to leverage on each other's strengths. Therefore, they are able to achieve more than what they could be able to do as individuals. That is, when people with different skills, different energies, different resources, different teams and organizations, when they collaborate and they leverage on the strength of each member of the team, such that they are able to achieve much more than they could have achieved individually. All right? Now, talking about synergy, let us watch this video. At the end of this video, I want us to tell me in the chat room what you think and what you can figure out from this particular video. Let's take a listen.
On the streets of Richmond, they fought to get by. Struggled to get out.
Good, bro.
And if they had anything left, they brought it to the court.
Your boys don't need practice, they need prison.
Good afternoon, young men.
Are you some preacher, man? Cause God ain't gonna do you no good in this neighborhood.
Leave the gym.
I ain't scared of nobody. Cause I lay you out.
I don't think so.
Teachers ain't supposed to touch students.
I'm not a teacher. I'm the new basketball coach.
Now they have a choice.
In Richmond, you're 80% more likely to go to prison than college. This contract states that you get a 2.3 grade point average, and you will wear ties on game day.
Between surviving alone
This is basketball, man.
These boys are student athletes. You have an incredible gift up here. Do you realize what an opportunity that is for you to get out of here? All you gotta do is have the dream.
Cause I just bought that big white crib right there. My wife Beyonce, barbecue with her G-strings on.
I said dream, not hallucinate. Gentlemen, we have 6 players failing at least one class. We have failed each other.
You put a lock on the gym and forced them to meet you in the library.
Coach Carter has taken the lockout to the next level by canceling last night's game, making it their first loss of the season.
Coach thinks I can play college ball. I'm gonna do that and raise a baby.
What are you saying? You want out?
I see no changes.
Basketball's the only thing that these boys have got. Now, we're gonna let Carter come in here and take that away from them.
You're gonna get through this.
Paramount Pictures and MTV Films present
What do I gotta do to play?
Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. One player triumphs, we all triumph, right?
We're gonna finish what you started, sir.
Samuel L. Jackson, Rob Brown, Ashanti,
I came to coach basketball players and you became students. I came to teach boys and you became men.
This is our time.
Coach Carter.
Time for us as a people to start making some change.
Okay, let me ask us. How many of us have seen that particular movie, and what can we deduce from that movie? If you would like to say something about that movie, please just raise your hand and I will be able to recognize you. If you would like to say something about that movie, just raise your hand and I will be able to recognize you. Let me see. Anyone? You can raise your hand and we'll be able to recognize you. Okay, I am, because we hear. All right. I'm from the chat. I'm saying that from Dr. Michael Ogu. Anyone that would like to say something, you can raise your hand and we'll recognize you. We'll be able to unmute and say something to us about that movie. I can't see any hands up. Okay, I'm checking to see if there's any hands up. I can't see any hands up. Is everybody shy this evening? Is everyone shy this evening? No one is ready to say something to us about that movie trailer that we just see. Okay, since there is no one that is ready to say something, I will move on. We'll come back to that later on and we'll talk about that movie. Now, synergy refers to the added value and that improved performance that occur when individuals or companies, when they come together to combine their resources in order to achieve results that will be greater than the sum of their individual effort, as mentioned earlier on. Now, when we talk synergy, it's a concept that describes a situation or more things working together. They create a result that is more powerful and more effective than if they were working separately. Imagine two people combining their skills, combining their resources, combining their energies together in order to achieve a particular objective rather than working separately in silos or competing. This is the power of synergy. In business, we often refer to synergy as that increased value that is created when two or more companies, when they merge or when they collaborate together in order to deliver on their strengths. This way, they combine resources, technologies, or their expertise so that they can achieve better outcomes, even much more than they would have achieved as individual entities when they are on their own. For example, when companies merge together, they may have different strengths. One of them could have a very strong brand, while the other could have, very good technology. When they combine their resources, the one that has a very strong brand strength and the one that has very good cutting-edge technology, when they bring this together, they can create a product that is more valuable to the customers than they could have ever created if they were to be alone. Imagine MTN collaborating with First Bank. Imagine Glo collaborating with GTB. Imagine Zenith Bank collaborating with Airtel. Just imagine the kind of result that they will be able to achieve compared to when they are operating, for example, competing against OPay, against Money Points, against Flutterwave, against Kuda, and the rest of them. That is the power of collaboration and synergy in play. Now, as we have positive synergy, we also have negative synergy. Now, negative synergy sometimes could occur where collaboration leads to a less desirable outcome. That is, we expect that collaboration and synergy will generate increased value. But when the opposite is the result, then that is a negative synergy. Where when companies or individuals work individually, they're able to produce better results than when they come together to combine their efforts. In such a situation, we don't expect people to work together. We ask that they play to their strength. Synergy underscores the importance of harnessing the power of relationships and social capital in order for us to achieve career success. With synergy, collaborative efforts and effective networking can lead to more significant outcomes than individual efforts. If you want to read more about this and more about synergy, I will ask that you go and check the search written by Dr. Mike Ogu on the third volume from page 141. You will see the concept of synergy, how it is broken down into relationship, collaboration, social capital, and much more. And each individual, as a career person, you need to harness the power of synergy because there is strength in unity, in collaboration. Let's take a listen to this.
A synergy is where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In other words, when two or more people or organizations combine their efforts, they can accomplish more together than they can separately. They can get more done working together than they can working apart. In mathematical terms, a synergy is when 2 plus 2 equals 5. Negative synergies also exist. If there is a negative synergy, the whole is less than the sum of its parts. In other words, people can actually accomplish more by working alone rather than working together. In mathematical terms, a negative synergy is when 2 plus 2 equals 3. An easy example is an overly social work team that spends too much time team building and not enough time working. There are many ways that synergies are attempted in the business world. Let's look at some examples. Mergers. Companies often attempt to achieve synergies by merging with other companies to which they are compatible. For example, a manufacturing company may have the most up-to-date technology to make the best product of its type on the market, but has a lackluster logistics system. An older manufacturing company may have a stellar logistical system, but outdated manufacturing equipment. If the two companies merge, they can accomplish more together than they could apart.
So, as you see in that video, when two organizations, when two individuals, when two functions, when two departments, when they work together, they can achieve much results than when they work individually. However, we must also be mindful of negative synergy, where people are overtly social and they are coming together is achieving less results than if they are working alone as individuals. If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. These are the words of Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motors. What Henry Ford was trying to allude to is the fact that when people are moving together as a whole, that is when the sum is coming together as a whole, then success will take care of itself because there is alignment of purpose, there is alignment of goals, there is synergy of energy and synergy of resources. And that way, it is certain that success will be the end result. Let's talk about collaboration. Collaboration is when people come together and they contribute their individual expertise to benefit a shared objective, a project, or a mission. What are we saying here? When people who are experts, subject matter experts, as we often call it, when they all come together to contribute their individual strength and knowledge to achieve a common objective in a project. For example, let's look at a photographer that is working with a designer in order to create a cover image for a brochure. For example, AAHRP, we are coming with our conference, very soon. Imagine you have somebody who is just into photography and you have a graphic artist. Now, the graphic artist on his own can look for pictures and images, that are already existing in order to create lovely design. But imagine when you now have a photographer who is able to bring live images into that design, both of them working together. You can only imagine the nature of the design that they will come up with in terms of the cover page of a brochure or a material. Again, let's look at a technology department that is working, harmoniously, collaboratively with the marketing team. When marketing is able to leverage digital technology and digital space with their content translated with the aid of AI, into a more resonating information that is passed across to the public, what you will see is that they will be able to meet their quarterly goals because patronage will increase. There will be strong brand awareness and strong brand presence. And of course, the nature of the marketing collateral will be better. In other words, collaboration is the process of group work. Again, collaboration is the process of group work. Let's take a listen.
Collaboration is a mindset. It is not an intellectual gift we are born with. Some of us have it instinctually. It can be learned. Okay. So collaboration builds trust. It builds from trust, it builds engagement. And from engagement, it leads to synergies if you have effective collaboration. And a synergy is one of the most important organizational strengths, whether it's a business, whether it's a not-for-profit, whether it's a church, wherever, a family. Synergy is one of those things that if you have group engagement, there's nothing like it. There's no strength as powerful, as purposeful, as positive and empowering as synergy.
There is
collaboration
that is so engaging as the power of synergy. Now, in business, collaboration promotes creative solutions and diverse perspective. Now, when we collaborate, you find out that people have different skills, different ideas. And in those different ideas, you have creativity to solving the same problem. Because of the diverse perspective that people will bring on board, you are able to have a bigger insight. And you can type into some of the insights in order for you to generate more information to be able to solve problems. Collaboration in business builds stronger relationships and accountability. Because again, relationship is very, very important in business palace. People do not just exist in silos. When we talk business relationship, people don't exist in silos, because silo mentality leads to very, very little results. But when people work together and they collaborate, they are able to achieve more results than when they work just alone by themselves. Results in higher productivity and employee satisfaction. And of course, it makes greater impact and achieve bigger success than when we could ever do when we work alone. Collaboration in business promotes stronger team synergy. Now, let's look at some of the benefits of collaboration in business. Number one, it strengthens teams' relationship. So if you have different teams, like the HR team, you have the marketing team, you have the sales team, you have the operations team, you have the finance team, where there is collaboration within that each of the teams, where they come together and there is synergy, it strengthens the relationship between the team members. It improves efficiency and productivity. 3-4 of us coming together to work on a project will derive faster results, better solution, and increased productivity than each of us working individually alone. It boosts innovation and creativity. It enhances problem solving. When there is a critical problem, whether it is in operations or it is in HR or it is in finance, once we recognize it as a business problem and not a functional problem, and everybody think together within their team, we will be able to solve that problem in a more effective and efficient manner. Collaboration promotes employee engagement and satisfaction. Where people work together as a team, where they collaborate, they have something to always look forward to in going to the office. And that is why we always advocate for cross-functional teams for projects, such that it breeds engagement, it increases employee satisfaction, it facilitates knowledge sharing. When people collaborate, there is open-mindedness. People are able to share their knowledge. What you know, what I know, we bring it together and we contribute knowledge and we're able to find solutions. It encourages accountability and ownership. People are able to take ownership of projects, of outcomes when they collaborate, because they are accountable to other people. Okay, in the words of Helen Keller, an author and activist, he says, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Do we all agree with me? Now, let us have an understanding of what synergy is in teams. In the context of team dynamics, synergy simply means that team members and the team leaders, they are working together seamlessly. They are leveraging each other's strength in order to achieve the common goal of that team. This effort, it creates a whole lot of more powerful and effective than what could have been achieved if the team members were working individually. A team synergy is the enhanced performance and productivity that results when team members work together effectively, when they leverage their diverse skills, when they leverage their strengths, and then they are able to leverage their perspectives. This collaborative dynamic, it creates an outcome that is greater than the sum of the individual contributions of every member of the team. And this is what we see in football competition. Look at what Tottenham did to Manchester United. That is the power of team play. The coach, Son, he knows that individual players that he has taking on the Manchester United team, they will lose that match. But what he did was to harness the power of collaboration within his team. All the team needed was just one goal, and then they closed the game and they make the game boring. At the end of the day, the Red Devils, as they were called, they went home disappointed. I know that quite a number of us, they are very, very, very happy with the outcome of that match, especially the Arsenal fans. Okay, I'm not throwing shade, sorry, don't mind me. Okay, Arsenal fans, we know you get closer to the trophy every year, but you don't pick it, but it's all right. It's all right. Don't come for me, Arsenal fans. All right. Now, let us look at the 5 C's that powers synergy and collaboration. I've called them the 5 C's that power synergy and collaboration. First among them is contribution. Contribution. Now, contribution here, we are talking about what each member of a team, what each individual brings to the table when we need to achieve a result. Imagine we want to cook a very lovely soup, and we do not, one person does not have all the ingredients, and then everybody come together to bring the ingredient that they have, and then we bring all our ideas together, and one of us who is the best cook, we all support the person to then prepare the soup. That way, we are able to have all resources and every material that is needed. That is the power of contribution. And this is very important when we are discussing synergy and collaboration. Number 2 is collaboration itself. People coming together, having a handshake, working closely, contributing their skills, their ideas, their resources to a project in order to drive productivity, to drive efficiency, to drive a positive outcome. The third C is commitment. How serious are we? How loyal are we? How involved are we? How engaged are we in bringing our skills, our competence, our capacity and capability in order to deliver on outcomes, working together with other people? When we are committed to a goal and we are able to work collaboratively with other people, there is synergy in the efforts. The fourth one is cooperation. When we allow our individual differences to take the back seat and we submit to superior views and we work with other people in order to harness the energy in the room. Cooperation, working seamlessly with others in order to deliver results. Putting aside all our differences. This is a powerful tool when we talk synergy and collaboration. And most importantly is communication. Communication, exchange of information, exchange of ideas, exchange of skills, competence, knowledge, resources. Okay, by way of providing information, communication is a powerful tool and it helps in building synergy and in building collaboration. These elements, they all work together to create a powerful force that enables teams and organizations to achieve more than they could have ever achieved as individuals. Let's watch this. Okay, so who wants to share what lessons can we pick out from that clip? Anyone that wants to share, either in the chat room or online, or you want to, if you like to speak with us, you can unmute. What lesson can we have we learned from that short clip? Anyone in the room? Anyone in the room? What lessons have we learned so far? Anyone in the room? Yes, Mo Olajiton, please go ahead. You can unmute. Mo, go ahead.
Well, my take away from the video and from those clips is the fact that united we stand, divided we fall. When we have synergy, when we are collaborating, it's very difficult for one of us to become a prey. Instead, the collaboration, like Yoruba will say, I'm a force or up of your journey to Baba. Let me interpret it. Thank you, sir.
You know that in Yoruba, we always say that if you go to your in-laws' house and you go and say a proverb there, you must interpret it yourself. All right, Mo, thank you very much for that insight. I'm seeing in the chat room, Rebecca Luashen says, collaboration and synergy is germane to achieve great success. Victoria Azaria says, collaboration is key, unity as a team. I'm also seeing from Olushola Agbelusi, there was collaboration among the team, so they were able to achieve the feat of getting the fruit back. Exactly. Grace Okopi says, teamwork makes the dream work. Jessica says, there is constant need for collaboration and team effort. All right. And Temitope says, they are better and greater results when collaboration is in place. Omawumi says, with collaboration, they were able to defeat the ego. When there's collaboration and synergy, the desired goal is achievable. And lastly, Sarah says they tried individually, but they failed until when they all had synergy, and then they realized that to collaborate, and they got what they wanted. Abel says collaboration, cooperation, and commitment. Thank you very much for that wonderful insight. Now, where there is no collaboration, what are the likely outcomes that we will see where there is no collaboration? Where there is no collaboration, number one, there will be poor communication. Lack of synergy or collaboration leads to poor communication. It leads to reduced productivity and efficiency. It leads to low innovation and creativity. And it leads to weak problem solving. Employees get frustrated and their morale is dampened. Again, there is a lot of conflict and blame game. Everybody begins to look for who is the culprit, who did what was wrong, who caused this problem. And again, you find out that where there is no collaboration and synergy, the results are not consistent with what is expected. And there will be difficulty in adapting to change as things are moving. While we are supposed to be agile, because we are working in silos, we find out that there is difficulty in adapting. And of course, more importantly, we will spend more because there will be a lot of waste. Therefore, cost will increase when there is no collaboration. We will spend more. And there will be misalignments because everybody will be working in silo and they'll be working in cross purposes. There will be misalignment. Lack of synergy and collaboration leads to lack of trust, where everybody is suspicious of the other person and we do not trust what is going on in the other team. And more importantly, the work environment becomes very siloed. Everybody is working within their own team, within their own unit. Nobody is talking to the other people. Nobody is saying anything to anybody. And everybody is just in their own space. And that way, there is a lot of waste. There will be a lot of inefficiency. There will be a lot of problems and conflicts all across the organization. Now, tell me in the chat room, summer is here. Okay? If you have an opportunity of an all-expense paid travel for a destination summer, where would you like to go? I'm offering you an all-expense paid travel to any destination of your choice this summer. Tell me that's one place that you'd like to go. Let me see your answers in the chat room. Anybody planning for an adventure? Oh, South Africa. Victoria says Australia. Deborah says Canada. Okay, Precious, Mauritius. Mo says she wants to come back to Nigeria. Somebody is missing home. Okay. Rebecca wants to go to Brazil. Rio. Somebody wants among Olushola, Bahamas. Fred wants to go to Paris. Umneoma, Maldives. Okay. Success, Canada. Ifeoluwa, Canada. Benga, New York. Sarah, USA. Oh, Grace, Bahamas. Okay, yes, go to Rio in Brazil. Adewale Michael wants to go to USA. Wow, Abel, Dubai location. And of course, Rita Elby. Interesting. Nobody wants to go to Ghana. Nobody wants to go to Cameroon. Nobody wants to go to Kenya. Interesting. All right. Okay. Since there is nobody that is interested in going to Cotonou, I'm going to have to keep my money. I thought somebody wants to go to Cotonou. I would have sponsored the trip. But nobody wants to go to Cotonou. So let's move on. Let us look at the roles of HR in harnessing and promoting synergy and collaboration in business. Mo, you chose Nigeria. Nigeria is not Cotonou. I want somebody that wants to go to Cotonou that I will sponsor, Benin Republic. But nobody chose that. All right, let's look at what role does HR play in harnessing and promoting synergy and collaboration in business. As human resource professionals, as a people management, responsible function, we collaborate with other departments in order to ensure that business objectives are met. How do we do this? We focus on workforce planning, talent management, and the overall well-being of our people. And in carrying out this particular function and in collaborating with others, we communicate effectively and clearly. We promote shared goals. We build trust. We encourage feedback in order to create a collaborative and productive work environment. As HR, we enable that environment where collaboration thrives. These are the roles that HR is expected to play. We are catalysts for synergy and collaboration. And for us to act as catalysts, we must promote communication. We must promote shared goals. We must build trust. We must encourage feedback. And we create an environment where collaboration thrives. Our role as HR, in terms of our value chain, we recruit, we train, we build culture, we manage performance, and we enable technology to drive processes within the organization. We act as the technological enabler within the organization by pointing attention to how work can be done more effectively and more efficiently. We ensure that there is strategic alignment and planning within the organization. We set goals and we manage talent. And of course, we drive employee engagement and retention. All of these and more are the values that HR brings to the table by way of the roles that we play. Now, for us to build a collaborative culture, and when we build a collaborative culture, it promotes trust, it promotes openness, and it promotes respect within the workspace. It encourages people and functions to work together and enhances teamwork. When we build a collaborative a culture, it encourages transparency in communication within the organization. It helps the organization to set goals that are smart, and it creates a culture that is very rich in feedback, an environment where feedback is very rich, where there is feedback bottom up and there is feedback top to bottom. It provides an environment where skills, where people collaborate in using their skills in training, and it fosters leadership and ownership quality within the organization. In the word of Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, he said, great things in business, they are never done by one person. They are done by a team of people. Great things in business are never done by one person, but they are done by a team of people. So if you look at what Apple does, Apple leverages a lot on teamwork. Every component of a iPhone is a product of effective teamwork that is driven by a lot of intentionality. Now, let's look at the case study of implementation of a collaborative culture, the case study of Microsoft. Microsoft wanted to drive a cultural transformation. However, they had a challenge. What was this challenge? People were working in silos. There were siloed teams, and there was internal competition. And this was, standing in the way of collaboration and innovation at Microsoft. Because everybody, they were all holding to their own. Nobody was ready to work together in order to drive innovation. Now, what did they do? Under the CEO, Satya Nadella, Microsoft shifted from a culture of I know it all, only me knows everything, to a culture of I learn it all. I know what I know, but I want to learn from other people. And that culture emphasized teamwork and continuous learning. That culture emphasized a growth mindset across every level of the organization, from management, mid-level, and entry level. And that particular culture eliminated, it drives the elimination of stack ranking, that is competitive performance review, because the focus was no longer on measuring individual performance, but measuring team performance. So performance management became team-oriented and no longer individual-oriented. And what was the impact of this transformation? The impact was that there was stronger internal collaboration at Microsoft. There was increased adaptability and innovation. And of course, a revitalized organizational culture that was able to drive a sustained success. And that is what is still powering Microsoft up until now. Collaborative culture is very, very important. In leadership development, we need to train leaders in emotional intelligence and inclusivity. Our leaders must be emotionally intelligent, and they must have a culture of driving inclusion within the workspace, across generational divide, across religious divide, across racial divide, across gender divide. There must be that deliberate, intentional effort to be inclusive. Managers, they must become coaches to their team. And we must set in motion the evaluation of collaboration in leadership performance. We must evaluate collaboration in leadership performance. In training and development, which we also call learning and development, in the area of soft skills, we must develop our leaders in communication, conflict resolution, and emotional intelligence. We need to encourage cross-functional learning. That is, movement within the functions in the organization. HR, go and spend some time in finance. Finance officer, go and spend some time with the sales and marketing team. A marketing guy, go and spend some time with finance. So you know how the figures are crafted and how your numbers, how they come together to drive both revenue and also cost for the organization. We need to offer workshops and team building activities in such a way that people are able to work together and see what other team members are doing. We must encourage mentoring and peer coaching. Apart from the individual coaching, there should be peer coaching where people can see and know what is going on with other people. We must promote knowledge sharing, just as we are doing together, harnessing the energy and resources, the skills and competencies in the room by encouraging knowledge sharing amongst professionals. In performance management, we need to align KPIs with team objectives, such that individual KPIs of members of the team is aligned to the objectives of the team itself and further aligned to the objectives of the entire organization. We need to incentivize group achievement and not just individual achievement. In our performance reward system, we should not just only focus on employee of the quarter. What about team of the quarter? What about the cross-functional team of this quarter? What about the project team of the season? Therefore, we need to empower and enable more project teams and cross-functional team efforts. And we need to reward them. And we need to incentivize them. Accordingly. In collaboration and communication and collaboration tools, we must adopt digital technology that enables people to work together. For example, Teams, Slack, Trello, Google Space. We need to deploy tools that will ensure that people can work together. For example, when you have SharePoint, rather than people saving the work that they are working on their individual computers, they're able to save it in a shared folder where everybody can work on the same document at the same time. That way, we're able to eliminate duplication of efforts, and we can see what everybody is doing part time, and we can make corrections and make contributions accordingly. We need to train employees on effective use of technology and collaborative tools, and we must ensure inclusivity in communication. Now, in talent management, which is another value chain area of HR, we need to hire for collaboration and soft skills. As HR, we must hire for collaboration and soft skills. When we see those super performers, as they have crafted their achievements on their CVs, on their resume, we must also be able to drive further to find out how have they been able to work in a team to deliver results. Don't forget, they are not coming to the organization to work alone. They are coming to work with other people. So we must hire for collaboration and for soft skills, not only for the hard and technical skills alone. We must structure our onboarding for integration so that onboarding is not just about the technical onboarding alone, the bench onboarding alone. There must be that integration, a deliberate effort to ensure that a new employee goes around every department and understand how each department contributes to the goals and objectives of the organization. We must build diverse and balanced teams across generation, across gender, across races, across tribes, across religion, across disability and abilities. We must build a diverse and balanced teams. We must give feedback for growth, not just constructive feedback, not just criticism, but feedback that powers growth. We must give employees value. As leaders, we must continue to create value. Now, in designing collaborative structures, we must create team-based work systems. It is time for us to break down departmental silos. All those walls, partitioning in offices, it's time that we break them down. Both the physical one and, of course, the psychological ones. We need to break down those walls and allow people to be able to work across functions within the organization, to be able to power their efforts together and have synergy. We must support project-based collaboration where people can work together on different projects. Recruitment must become a project that is not only powered by HR alone, but by a project team comprising of different functions. Performance management is no longer just going to be an HR function alone, but powered and driven by every other function. Such that when we're having that calibration meeting, the talent management meeting that we are having to discuss performance and talent, everybody already have that buy-in, and collaboratively we are working, towards the same objective. In conflict resolution, we must develop clear processes for resolving conflicts. And to do this, we must train in communication and negotiation, and we must provide mediation where this is necessary, so that we can manage conflict much more, effectively. Now, what are the barriers to collaboration and synergy? There are certain things that will always stand in the way of collaboration and synergy. One of these is communication breakdowns. When there is misunderstanding due to unclear messages, when the message is not clear, or when you are transmitting the message through a wrong medium. When, of course, the movement between the giver of the information and the receiver of the information is not aligning. When we lack active listening or feedback, this can become a very huge barrier to collaboration. Cultural and diversity differences can be another major barrier to collaboration, where our values vary, where our work styles differs, where our communication preferences are completely, opposite. For some people, they love verbal communication, they love physical meeting. While for some, go and send a mail, put it in the mail, write it down. For some people, they like to maintain eye contact when they are talking to you. Why for some people, all they need is just a phone call. All of this could be major barriers to collaboration. Lack of trust, where people are afraid to share ideas, why they are afraid to make mistakes or to admit to their errors. Don't forget that errors or mistakes, they are clear paths to innovation and creativity. But where we do not allow people to be able to admit to mistakes, where they are afraid to share their ideas, it becomes a major barrier to collaboration and synergy. Organizational silos, we cannot emphasize this enough. Where departments and teams are working in isolation, no one knows what is going on in other departments. Poor leadership support, where the followers don't have the buy-in of the leaders, where leaders are not encouraging and modeling collaboration. In some organization, the finance director does not see eye to eye with the sales director. The sales director does not want to talk to the operations director. As far as HR is concerned, they are only on the side of the people. They are not working for the business. Therefore, finance is not in agreement with them. HR is always looking for how to spend money. Where leaders are not modeling collaboration, it becomes a major barrier to synergy. Inadequate tools and technology. When people don't have the appropriate platforms for communication and project management, this is a very, very huge barrier. Conflicting priorities and goals, where there is misalignment between the team and the individual goals, where there is misalignment between the team's goals and the organizational goals, this will be a major barrier. And of course, where there is resistance to change, when people are reluctant to adopt new collaboration methods or tools, this will be a major barrier. Because for collaboration and synergy to work, we need to build trust. We need to inspire people. We need to exchange ideas. We need to assist one another. We need to provide support. And success must be our goal. We must share ideas, and there must be shared goals. And more importantly, teamwork is paramount. Let us look at some strategies for overcoming some of the barriers that I mentioned earlier on as I begin to wind down. Number one, we must enhance communication by establishing clear channels and protocols. How do we want people to communicate? What processes, what tools do we want people to adopt when they are communicating? How do we improve communication within the organization? We must train employees on effective communication skills. Number two, we must build trust. And in building trust, we must promote openness and transparency. People must be able to see through us. When we say good morning, they shouldn't have the need to go and check the window if it is morning or evening. Leaders must build trust. Number three, we must break down the silos. If you still have compartments within your organization, maybe it's time to break down those walls. We must promote cross-functional projects and teams. We need to encourage interdepartmental networking. We must be deliberate about having that TGIF where different departments are working together and are relating together. We must break down those silos. We must empower our leaders. A lot of times, people are appointed into leadership roles and they are not empowered. They don't have the competency and the skill. Just because they have the technical skills and they have excelled in their technical ability, we promote them into leadership role, but we don't empower them. We don't equip them. So we must develop leaders who champion collaboration. And we must include collaboration in the metrics of measuring the performance of our leaders. Are our leaders promoting and encouraging collaboration among their team members? This should form part of the performance metrics of our leaders. We must leverage technology. And in leveraging technology, it must be user-friendly collaboration tools. And we need to provide ongoing support and training in the use of this technology. Let us not just, throw our people under the bus, asking them to go and learn on YouTube alone. We must be intentional. When we introduce new technologies and collaborative tools, we must provide training for people. And this is where reverse mentoring also, comes up in the workplace, where, of course, the Gen Zs and the Gen X, and the Gen Y and the millennial, where they can be able and they must be able to mentor the baby boomers and the Gen X in use of technology. We must manage change effectively in order for us to overcome barriers to collaboration and synergy. We must communicate the benefits of collaboration clearly to our people. And we must involve all our employees in decision making and the design process. And finally, here, we must align goals and align our incentives. Set shared objectives across teams and reward collaborative behaviors and outcome. This is very important. Don't let us just continue to focus on individual performance, but let us incentivize teamwork. Let us incentivize collaboration. Let us incentivize synergy in our workplace. Now, what will be our role as HR in overcoming these barriers? We need to facilitate training and workshops on communication and teamwork. We must design policies that will encourage collaboration and synergy. We need to mediate in conflicts and maintain a cooperative work environment. And we must monitor and assess collaboration effectiveness regularly. As HR, we need to maintain the temperature of the organization by assessing how people are collaborating and how they are working in synergy to achieve the organization's objectives. And more importantly, we must lead change management initiatives that relate to collaboration and synergy. These are a very important role that HR will need to play for us to overcome the barriers in collaboration and synergy. We must build cross-functional teams as HR. And how do we do this? We need to focus on diversity. We need to clarify the goals of teams and the expectation that we have of teams. We must include subject matter experts. Our SMEs, we need to engage them and include them. And we must adopt communication best practices. We must offer cross-functional leadership training, and we must outline collaboration workflows in our workplaces. This way, we can build cross-functional teams across the organization. In communication and facilitation skill, as I begin to round up in a few minutes, facilitation involves that craft of guiding a group through a participatory process that makes it easier to achieve their goals. And for us to facilitate effectively, we must be objective, we must practice active listening, we must be adaptable and flexible, we must manage time effectively, and we must have very clear communication. Oral, written, and non-verbal communication is very, very critical and very important. We need to leverage technology for collaboration. We have a lot of technological tools that we can leverage. Quite a number of them that I've shared in this slide. Project management tools like Trello, Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, time zone coordination. We can use Work Time Buddy. We can use Google Calendar. Communication and collaboration tools. We can make use of Slack, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meet. Polling and scheduling. We can use Doodle. We can use Google Forms and Qualtrics. File sharing and cloud storage. We can use emails, Google Drive, OneDrive, Google Document, Dropbox, SharePoint. And of course, we can make use of collaborative whiteboards, brainstorming tools like Miro, like Jamboard, like Luxishard, and so on. Now, how do we embed collaboration and synergy into our HR processes as HR professionals? Number one, in recruitment and hiring, we need to involve team leads, our peers, even potential colleagues in interviews and decision making. Don't let us do this alone. We must share evaluation platforms using tools like Greenhouse, Workable, and all of that. It helps us to have feedbacks on candidates. And we must involve employees by encouraging employees to refer candidates. And this will promote trust and cultural alignment. All right? In onboarding, we must build a body systems or a mentorship program within the organization. We can pair new hires with experienced employees for faster integration. We can have cross-departmental orientation. That is, we can introduce new employees to different departments. This will foster inter-team familiarity and communication, as the case may be. In our performance management, let us make use of 360-degree feedback. This will ensure that we can gather performance input from our peers, from subordinates, and from supervisors for an holistic view about individual employees and teams. And let us make use of collaborative goal setting. Let's encourage employees and managers to set performance goals together. You remember management by objective. We can tweak these and infuse KPI by balance scorecard into management by objective. This will ensure alignment and accountability. In learning and development, we need to practice peer learning, facilitating knowledge sharing through mentorship coaching, collaborative learning platforms such as Coursera, Teams, and all of that. Team-based training is very effective in promoting team learning. This will help us to build collective competencies. It will help us to improve cooperation. Employee engagement and retention. We must have regular feedback loops, making use of surveys, post check-ins, team discussions in order for us to gather input, and we must act on this input. And of course, we must build cross-functional projects. Let us encourage employees to work with other departments. This will engagement, it will increase career growth opportunities. And in decision making, HR, let us have inclusive policy design. Don't let us just sit down and write all the policies by ourselves. When you finish, writing a policy, send it to other departments, other functions for their input. Let them buy into it. Let them make contributions into it. It will help you to refine the policy even before you roll them out. We can also involve employees in shaping our policies by having focus groups and committees to discuss, and come up with additional ideas and input into our policy. We must have transparent communication. Let us keep people informed, and let us involve people in our HR initiatives. This will help us to build trust and openness within the organization. What are the benefits that we will derive if we practice collaboration and if we encourage synergy? There will be higher employee satisfaction and retention. There will be faster integration of new hires. There will be greater innovation and adaptability. We will be able to hire better and take better hiring decisions and have culture fit employees. There will be stronger organizational alignment when, of course, we promote a collaborative work environment. In the word of Phil Jackson, legendary NBA coach, the strength of the team is each individual member. However, the strength of each member is the team itself. Each individual member of the team, they have their strengths within the team itself. As I summarize, in conclusion, synergy and collaboration are no longer optional. They are seen as essential drivers of innovation, agility, and sustainable business success. And as strategic enablers of culture and talent, HR professionals, we are uniquely positioned to lead this shift. By fostering collaboration and synergy across teams and aligning people's strategies with organizational goals, HR can break down barriers. We can strengthen engagement and can unlock the full potential of our workforce. Let me leave you with these final words from Paul Solas, an educator and an author, who said, "Collaboration allows us to know more than we are capable of knowing by ourselves." Thank you very much as I hand over to Prince. Over to you, Prince.
Thank you so much.
Trendybeats.com.
wishing me the best. So I pledge my allegiance to the one who has called me. I will make this a
Over to you, Prince. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful, wonderful session. I'm sure we have a lot of people with amazing takeaways from this session. I'm sure we'll come back to the earlier trivia to have the current answers revealed. But before we do that, do we have questions from participants? If you have questions, if you like to speak, please use the raise hand feature and then we'll allow you to speak. If not, you can drop your questions in the chat box and then we will take it up. We have questions or insights we want to contribute to the conversation. Please use the raise hand feature or type your questions in the chat box and then we will pick it up. Mr. Adeyemi, do you want to reveal the correct answers to the trivia while we wait for the questions?
Okay, let me do just that.
I think we have the
correct answer.
Most sweets, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prince, and thank you, sir, for that loaded package. It's not a question as such, but I just wanted to add, because from the things we could do to ensure that we are collaborating and we are working together, one of the things that jumped at me while you were stating all of those to-dos and can-dos and must-dos is I see a repeated mention of training, empowering people, educating people. But I think more than doing that, one of the things I've realized is we as human resource, we do a lot of training, and then they said, how do you measure how people the training, the effectiveness of the training? Say, oh, we conduct 1 quarter or 3 months, 1 month after analysis. But beyond that, I realized recently that in conducting a training or having a knowledge sharing section, one step to take it forward would be we ensure that participants are committed to something. So take, for example, recently we had an inclusive communication training for a team in my organization. And the facilitator on our last slide asked all of the persons on the table, what are you going to do differently? And people were giving the regular chorus answer, oh, I'm going to ensure that I'm speaking the language that everybody understands. I'm going to ensure that I use the culture of the organization. And then we were looking and we were listening to them. And then the facilitator went back to say, one after the other, what are you going to do personally after this training, after this learning, to ensure that you are inclusive in your communication? And then they started saying, me, Modokwe, I am going to ensure that I'm not speaking Yoruba in the office because everybody is not a Yoruba speaker and Yoruba is not the language of the business. And then this facilitator went ahead to write it down, knowing that the team lead of this team we are training is present. So after writing all of those things on the whiteboard and like, oh, Mo says she will not speak Yoruba in the office. Mustafa says he would ensure that he's not using title because our culture is first name basis. We wrote all of those things down. And then the next step was to now give all of these commitments, individual commitments, to the team lead to say, please, can you add this to their personal goals that will be measured at the end of the year? Because if we do all of this learning, we are not committing to something individually, a personal thing, or we commit to it, there's no accountability partner or there's no accountability at the end of it. we will still go back to square one, and everybody will want to hold on to the knowledge they have. They want to can and like just bottle up all of the things they have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mudokwe. Spot on, spot on, spot on. One of the things that I normally do when we have organizational specific training is that I ensure that trainees, they all have accountability partners, like a body, that they check on one another to ensure that they are upholding what they have committed to during the training. And most often than not, I hand that process over to the HR of the organization to embed it into their performance management document, such that even during appraisal period, your line manager will interview, also speak with your body to know what goals that you committed to at the beginning of the year, and then how far have you achieved it, and how has the person supported you or encouraged you in achieving it. So these are other forms, and like I said, spot on, very, very, very spot on. I'm seeing a question in the chat box, Prince. I'm seeing
yes, Olushola, who how do we best deal with employees who do not want to cooperate with the rest of the team?
First and foremost, for such type of employee, give them a project team to handle and to manage. You know, people always think that leadership is giving, that is easy. So most times people forget that the followers determines the type of leaders that they want to have. So most often than not, when I see people who choose not to work with other people, then I give them a project, and I give them team members who will not be committed, who are informed, okay, to act, to role play. That is, they will pretend not to be providing support, so that by the time you go through that process for your first 2 weeks on that particular task or assignment, you will come back to understand the reason why you must cooperate. And the next time you are given such an assignment, definitely you see them, a behavioral change will begin to occur. Because most of the times you need people to learn by doing. You know, you let people, allow them to learn by doing. Most of the times people speak a lot of English. It's always very easy to say, it's not rocket science. Why was it not done this way? No problem. Give the person that responsibility to help. If you have a better idea, drive it. So that when you go through the process of driving a change and you see how cumbersome it could be when you don't have the support of other people, then you will learn to always support others whenever you are in a position to be among a team member. So that is what I'll give as a very practical way of handling people who don't want to cooperate with the rest of the team. Give them a task that they will lead, within the project team, create a sub team and let them lead that sub team. And ensure that what they are going to do is something that will involve them having to gather information from other people, from other team members. Then watch them, whether they will not learn to cooperate, and whether they will not learn to engage other people, and they'll be able to break that silo. I hope that helps.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Just as a follow-up, Mosweet is commenting that would that not discourage people from putting out suggestions?
Suggestion, not at all, not at all. And that is where things come in. In one of the things that we must learn to do when we have teams and when we have meetings is that we must watch out for people who dominate conversation. We must also deliberately watch out for people who don't make comments at all, and ensure that we provide them that platform and opportunity for them to make contributions. Most often than not, we waive that thing when we have some other people talking at meetings or talking on projects. We tend to ignore people that are just quiet. One of the things that leaders must learn to do is that don't allow any member of a team to be quiet. Be deliberate and be intentional about asking people to contribute ideas. And when you create that psychologically
No audio from here, or is it just me?
I believe it's Mr. Adeyemi's video is frozen. most likely an internet challenge. So we're just giving him a couple of seconds.
Also from here too.
So we'll just give him a few seconds to rejoin the meeting. I believe his internet has been disrupted.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Please go ahead now.
Can you hear me?
Welcome back.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I was saying that that we need to putting the question in context. So for most weeks, what I was saying, I was answering that question within the context of the person that is not cooperating, but who prefers to suggest or criticize, as the case may be. So, but generally, we must be intentional about encouraging every member of a team to talk, both the talkers and the silent observers. We must be intentional about encouraging every member of our team to contribute, in project teams, in meetings, and all of that. It's very, very important. It's part of collaborative communication skill. As HR, we must enable collaborative communication. People cannot be in a project team and just be silent lookers. No, it's not permitted. Thank you. Over to you, Prince. I can't see any other question in the chat room.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyebi. So finally, do we want to review the answers?
Yes, I am ready for you.
All right. Fantastic. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm ready for you. So I'm going to be sharing my screen.
Please go ahead.
And these are the answers to the puzzle. So the first person, Olushola, listed so many countries, but did not list Fiji. So help me look at all the answers, Prince, and let's know who has the highest answer based on the answers on the screen.
Okay, fantastic. Please.
Yes.
I'm not sure United States is the Commonwealth.
Not at all. US is not part of this. United States is not part of the answers in the puzzle. It's not part of the answers in the puzzle this evening. Okay. Like I mentioned, we have 54 countries in the Commonwealth of Nations, but there are only 20 of them in this puzzle. All right. And US is not part of it. Yes. All right. So I'll also share this with you so that maybe probably on our community group, once we get the winner, let me know the winner. And the winner will be having a 10,000 Naira gift voucher from me.
Oh, fantastic.
Right. I better be the winner.
Most weeks you didn't get up to 3.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Mostly try. Okay. Prince, are you still checking?
Yes, I'm still checking.
Okay. Let's enjoy some music while you are checking.
Okay. Can you share the correct answers in the chat box?
Okay, let me share that again.
I can quickly just benchmark with the answers.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, there you go. Yep. Let me spotlight that. For those that would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free. You can see my LinkedIn handle.
Mr. Yemi, we cannot hear the audio from your end. So if music is playing, you may want to reshare so the audio can be heard.
Okay, you're not hearing the audio.
No, I'm not sure it's activated. I'm not sure the audio is shared.
Okay, all right, okay. What of now?
No, you may have to stop sharing and reshare with the audio active.
Okay, let me know when you are ready, Prince. Prince, your line is breaking. Is it from my end?
Yeah, can you hear me? The audio is still, we still can't hear the audio. I can't hear it.
No.
So anybody can. You may have to stop sharing the entire slide to confirm that you're sharing audio.
Them say, the blessing where you do, Ojoro. Them say, salvation where you do, Ojoro. You bless the boy, you give him victory, Ojoro. The girl is fine, no fresh and beautiful, Ojoro. See, this Ojoro, this Ojoro, this Ojoro, you do for me good, so you know go pain also. Them know us before. You don't better pass it before. Alati leka pekin. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Pelete sweetie sugar. Honey, honey, honey. The melody like honey. Oh, by the way, the melody like water. Many be like what I you don't get you you take oh you mommy yo ayo yo I see the sweet also you know go play also them know us before you don't better pass it before. Them say the blessing where you do, Ojoro. Them say salvation where you do, Ojoro. You bless the body, you give him victory, Ojoro. The girl is fine, no fresh and beautiful, Ojoro. See, this Ojoro, this Ojoro, this Ojoro, you do for me, you know. I got to say, you do. Everybody tell me say oh no, I say what shall I render? What shall I offer? How can I do it? It done it, choo. What you want me know? Ayo. I see the sweet also. You know go pain also. Them know us before. You don't better pass you before.
Okay, Prince, any luck?
Still counting.
Okay, this election is a serious one. Some people are already on the mountain. Okay. It's interesting.
Really
Let's
close.
see.
I have 13 as the highest so far. We have a couple of 12.
Okay.
So still trying to see if we can get another 13 or 14.
Okay. Let's see about that. Any 14, otherwise, let's know who has 13. And if we have a tie, we'll break the tie.
trendybeats.com.
The people are hungry, the master is in me. So I pledge my allegiance to the one who has called me. And we make this on cloud. The nations are waiting, the people are hungry, the master is in me. So I pledge my allegiance to the one who has called me. And we make this on cloud. Price that you paid and the love that you showed and the prayer that you made, I will make Jesus proud. Lord, the price that you paid and the love that you showed and the prayer that...
Yes, thank you so much. So from our leaderboard,
yes,
we have 3 persons with 12 correct answers.
Okay.
And just 1 person with 13 correct answers, which is the highest from the entries that came in within a specific time, right? Because some entries came in after we had moved on from that session.
Of course. So who's the winner?
So, the winner of the trivia is Rebecca Oluwaseun Oyelola.
Rebecca Oluwaseun Oyelola.
With 13 correct answers. Rebecca, if you're here, please unmute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you turn on your
But
video?
Rebecca, should be
Okay,
collaboration. We
Rebecca.
just learned.
So
Let's
Rebecca,
do it
reach out to me with your
collaboratively.
phone number and your email address, and
Rebecca,
we'll
you
have
able to turn on your video?
My video, yeah. Well,
reach
I'm
out
here.
to me, Rebecca, with your Mo. Did you collaborate with Rebecca?
I can't turn on my video.
Did you collaborate with your?
Yes,
with
it's a
Rebecca?
collaborative effort. Oh, that's what we just learned. Yes,
Okay.
I synergized with the people around me.
Okay, don't worry. When you get your gift voucher, you can also synergize and collaborate in the spending.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for having me tonight. Over to you, Prince.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyemi. It's been a wonderful couple of hours during this session with you. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Management Committee of the HRP, we would like to say a very big thank you for honoring our invitation to anchor to this session of experts. And of course, it is our prayer that when next we invite you, you would honor our invitation. Thank you so much. For participants that would like to request certificates for this session, the link to request certificates are in the chat box, so you can click on it and request for your certificates. All right. Once again, we would like to
Conference
to go ahead and register for the 2025 AHRP annual conference happening in August between the 28th and the 30th. All right. To register, please visit ahrp.org/conference. And of course, you would see all the conference grid and what we have planned for this year's conference. Of course, our lineup of amazing speakers at this year's conference. We hope to see each and every one of us. Rebecca, we hope to see you. Mr. Adeyemi, we definitely are looking forward to having you at the conference. Thank you once again, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Prince.